Cosatu has announced its new leadership as the Federation concluded its 4-day Congress that was held in Midrand, Johannesburg this week. And now the newly elected national leadership are Zingiswa Losi, president of the organization. Michael Shingange was elected first deputy president, while Duncan Luvuno got the position of second deputy president. Freda Oosthuizen is the organization's national treasurer, and Solly Phetoe became the new general secretary, taking over from Bheki Ntshalintshali. Gerald Twala was elected Deputy General Secretary, which is the only position that was contested. Cosatu General Secretary Solly Phetoe joins us now. Mr. Phetoe, good morning. Thanks for speaking to us here on Morning Live once more.
And good morning to your listeners.
You seem a bit worse for wear this morning, but congratulations on your election all the same.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Phetoe, so what does it mean to be the General Secretary now with all the responsibility that comes with this position at a time when it seems to be a deepening of the alliance outlook, or should I say the fissures within the alliance seem to be deepening at this point? What would you say are going to be some of the key issues that you would have to look at in your position?
Well, the key issues that in my position, not me alone, but in my position as the General Secretary and the collective leadership elected by the 14th National Congress, is to continue to work collectively to unite the affiliates of Cosatu, to unite the entire working class and workers of South Africa, deal with the challenges that is facing workers. As you know, that workers in this country, the economic crisis is facing the entire workers in this country, which is also affecting the people of South Africa, in particular around the issue of the unemployment, inequalities, and the triple challenges that we're facing with the issue of the cost of living. All those issues, it is our responsibility to working collectively as the leadership of Cosatu to find a way of addressing those issues and respond to the challenges that I've already outlined. As part of the responsibility of the trade union movement is to improve conditions of workers, of its own members, but also of the other workers who are unorganized. But the other responsibility that we have to do collectively with our union is to organize the unorganized workers. As you have listened or you have looked to our report, organizational report, in relation to 28 to 30% of workers belonging to Cosatu, most about 70% workers are unorganized to any Cosatu or to any union in South Africa.
So when you say that, one of the things you need to focus on is to improve the condition of workers, let's unpack that. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, you all know how farm workers, domestic workers, security workers, cleaners, truck drivers, the construction in the mining industry, all the private workers, also include the public servant workers' challenges that they are facing. So it means all those challenges that there's a wage gap between the senior managers and the ordinary on the ground. We have a responsibility to find a way as Cosatu, as a policy around the closing of the wage gap, deal with the issues of the gender-based violence, the sexual harassment at the workplace, make sure that those workers are treated fairly at the workplace, but deal with the improvement of conditions, which include the improvement of their salaries.
Speaking of gender-based violence and sexual harassment, such incident came to light at this week's Congress. So please talk to us about that and how you have resolved to deal with the matter at hand at this Congress.
Well, firstly, we need to condemn the media public spectacle that says the person or the perpetrator was arrested at the Cosatu Congress, which is not true. That person was arrested where the incident happened, not at the Cosatu Congress. And the incident happened far from the Cosatu conferences, And we are unfortunately to deal with that matter, because the matter is sub judice, is now in the hand of the police, and the police have arrested that person. That person apparently has appeared in the Randburg Magistrate Court. Therefore, is a matter that is with the police. The ambit of law will have to do with that matter, but we must confirm that yes, the perpetrator, it is reported by its union that he was a delegate to the conference, but he then had to leave during the conference on Monday to go far from the Cosatu Congress to visit his friends or his uncle. That's where these things happen. So this thing did not happen at Cosatu, but Cosatu does have a sexual harassment policy. And in that Congress, we had a sexual harassment committee that had to deal with some of those challenges, and they've dealt with that matter in the manner that we are reporting on this matter. And we want to say to the public that we are sorry of what happened, but I think the media's public spect about Cosatu, it was wrong. It was totally wrong. So on that note, we don't want to go further on this matter. We will listen to our affiliates to how are they going to take this matter internally in their own structures.
And obviously, you know, this is something that was brought to the fore during the Congress by one of the delegates there as well. And that is how the media came to know about it, Mr. Phetoe. But as you say, because I wanted to ask you, what sort of sanction would be brought to bear, given that this was a delegate to conference, and how that would be dealt with? But you say the affiliate involved will deal with that.
Yes, the perpetrator, as I'm repeating it is confirmed that he is a member of the Cosatu Union, and that union has indicated and confirmed to the leadership of Cosatu, but also to the Sexual Harassment Committee, that they will deal with that matter internally in line with their constitutional and disciplinary procedure. So that's how we can see. For now, we can't say what will be the outcome. It will depend of how much evidence is going to be presented to them and how are they going to deal with that issue. And they have confirmed that they will report to the Cosatu Sexual Harassment Committee on a monthly basis or weekly, on a fortnightly, to tell us how is the progress going. And the Sexual Harassment Committee will then report to the National Office Bearers of Cosatu.
Just moving on to a few other things, Mr. Phetoe. The Congress was held under the theme Build Working Class Unity for Economic Liberation Towards Socialism. So what exactly does that mean in your interpretation as Cosatu, and what is it supposed to look like when that is achieved, and by when do you hope to realize it?
Well, we've got to go back. By when we will realize we will continue to do that work in between now and the next Congress of Cosatu after 4 years. And the issue that our theme talks about is the issue of building the working class power around that issue of the economic crisis that I've already outlined, which is also outlined by our debate and the Congress resolutions in relation to those challenges. And what we want to achieve at the end, when we talk about socialism, is about workers of this country and the people of this country must be free from the economic bondage. And workers of this country and the working class must be able to receive the service delivery at all sections that we are representing.
So just going back to the first day of the Congress, Mr. Phetoe, when some delegates prevented ANC National Chairperson Gwede Mantashe from addressing the Congress, and again on the second day, Mantashe has since said that this was a demonstration of immaturity, while some of the workers who were there said that, you know, they are not the ANC's labor desk. So What did the party finally resolve with regard to the alliance with the ANC and the mutual benefit that Cosatu derives from this alliance?
Well, the message that workers have sent to the leadership of ANC, which is the political party leading in government, is not for the first time that workers are raising this issue to the leadership of the ANC, and they raise the issues to indicate to the leadership of the ANC and ourselves and leadership of Cosatu that enough is enough in the manner that the ANC government is treating workers on issues that we have outlined already, that I've said about it, the issues of the economic crisis, the issues of attack to the collective bargaining, the issue of poor service deliveries on the ground. So the message was that the ANC must wake up, the ANC must start respecting the workers. You would have seen the attitude of the national chairperson of the ANC when workers demanded that or raised that issue. He had an attitude and he made a very statement, a remarking statement, like we're saying that message you are saying he has said publicly that shows that a sign of disrespect, a sign of immaturity, and those are the issues that provoked workers to be angry with. Even if workers were going to allow the ANC to speak, but the arrogance of the national chair of the ANC has provoked workers to take that step. But I think we must also say publicly, at no stage that Cosatu has said their workers have decided to leave the ANC. That's why we're talking about the reconfigured of alliance. And that is the issue that we'll continue to talk about. But if the ANC feels that what workers felt to raise their issues in the manner that they raise it, it's about the issue that sending a message that we are breaking the alliance, well, we'll take that matter and engage with the leadership of the ANC when time goes on.
And this seems to be an issue that comes up time and time again at Congress after Congress. The SACP, for example, has once again, I say, threatened that it might individually contest the 2024 elections. And going back to ANC National Chairperson Bheki Ntshalintshali, he also conceded that the alliance is broken. So where does Cosatu stand, and what did you resolve in this regard? Because there are some affiliates that feel that Cosatu should stand on its own, while of course others feel that the Federation should support the SACP. So what was ultimately resolved?
Well, like I said earlier on, that Cosatu has never discussed the issue, has no resolution about breaking the alliance. But on this matter, the workers, Cosatu cannot stand alone in contesting the election. We are not a political party. We are a trade union federation. Now, that matter will be resolved through a discussion at the level of the CEC. But the issues that came out there was that other unions of Cosatu were saying, yes, let's support the Communist Party, but let's deal with the processes first, in particular the process of consulting our members to get the majority of members' mandate outside there. Remember, those comrades who attended the conference as delegates representing the interests of the 1.8 million of workers out there. So the other union says, let's take a decision now and say, come 2024, we will support the Communist Party. As the Communist Party has said publicly that they are ready, and you will recall that in the last Congress of Cosatu 2018, where the resolution that we must go to the ANC to engage at the level of the alliance in relation to the reconfigured alliance. If the reconfigured alliance is not achieved, then we must go to the Communist Party, engage the Communist Party to test how ready are they in relation to contest the election on their own, and convene the special conference. This is not for the first time we're engaging on this matter. up to now, the issue around the reconfigured alliance, from where we stand, ourselves and Cosatu and the Communist Party, we've concluded the discussion around the issue of the reconfigured alliance. What is left in the last political council and the secretariat alliance meeting was that the ANC was supposed to convene the National General Council to finalize, to adopt that policy. It has never happened. We're coming from the policy conference of the ANC, and nowhere in the ANC papers there was something mentioned about the reconfigured alliance. So the workers felt that the ANC is not taking this matter up, is not taking the issue of the reconfigured alliance, and that is why in this discussion there were two motions, but we are going to take that. But in fact, it's not a two motion, it's one motion. The Congress or delegates are not disagreeing in terms of contesting, supporting the Communist Party. What is left is an issue of now, or we must first consult and call what is called consultative conference, call the left axis conference, as Cosatu and the Communist Party, talk to our members, and thereafter we convene a special Congress in 2023 March, before the national election in 2024. So, but if the ANC feels like I'm repeating it, is that if the ANC is their own approach or their own understanding that both Cosatu and the Communist Party have served the divorce papers, it's up to them. But Cosatu has never, as the former General Secretary of Cosatu was saying when he was interviewed, we have never signed a marriage papers with the ANC. We're in alliance for influencing the policy that will advance the working class and the workers in this country. In this case now, there are a number of issues that we think that we must set out and address with the ANC. The issue of the reconfigured alliance for us as Cosatu is still important.
And just finally, and I asked Ms. Zingiswa Losi about this on Wednesday when I spoke to her about the investment company of Cosatu, and she said it was something that would be deliberated. So, Kupano Kimatla, what is going on there? Because she mentioned that you were not happy as Cosatu about the developments there. So I said to her, I looked at that website and there were no numbers. It was very difficult to gauge exactly what is going on, how much is invested there. Are you able to give us a clearer picture now?
No, like what the president indicated, there are a number of challenges in Kopano-Kamata, and the Central Executive Committee of Cosatu has taken a decision to investigate that matter in properly. So in this interview or publicly, we will not raise issues that are still subjected to the engagement of internal process of Cosatu, but also to get more details in terms of what exactly is happening. And you will also recall that the issue of Kopano-Kamata at some stage, it did come to the public for the challenge of not paying workers their salaries for some time. So those are the issues that we think that the Congress is not happy about them, and the Congress have taken a decision that must be investigated fully, and the report must then be presented in the first Central Executive Committee after this Congress in November.
Fair enough.
And make a recommendation in terms of what should be the way forward in relation to Kopano-Kamata.
That's a fair explanation, Mr. Phetoe, but simple question. How much is invested? How much of work is invested? How much are they managing as an investment company?
Well, you will say it's simple. It's not simple, because we've got to get into details, what is there in the kit.
So if I ask the PIC how much they are managing on behalf of government employees, they'd be able to give me a figure. Why is it difficult in this instance?
Yeah, no, it's difficult, as you say now. The matter is subject to the investigation. Let me not get into details on that matter.
Would it be fair to say you don't know, Mr. Phetoe?
Well, it's up to how do you want to say, but that's my response. If you say I don't know, it's up to you. But I know, but I'm saying I will not disclose what is invested in publicly to this matter, and then this matter is engaged internally. And then once it's engaged internally with the leadership of Cosatu, the CEC, obviously, if it means that the public report must go publicly, will do so. There's nothing secret there, but there's no secret in anything like we're saying. You look at the report, but there are no
there's nothing there.
Figures.
You're not telling me there's nothing there, so it seems like it's a secret.
That there's no figures there. It means there's a challenge that we need to address.
All right. I'm hoping the workers are happy with that response. But thank you so much, Cosatu's new General Secretary, Solly Phetoe, on matters relating to the Federation following the 3-day Congress, which concluded with the election of new leadership.